Hello and welcome back to Minecraft. Been a while since well, not a while since I played Minecraft, but a while since I recorded anything and uploaded it. So yeah, let me just put all of this back on. So, I've been if you've heard of a mod called Applied Energistics, it's basically a mod that allows you to store items inside of a computer. I have this little wireless tablet here where I can access anything and just like, oh, it's amazing. That was really bad. Well, something you can also do inside, I'm missing 2 blocks. Something you also can do inside the mod is that you can tell the computer to program things. What, program things? No, you can't tell it to program things, you can tell it to make things. And you need to enter in all the recipes one by one, and you need to add more and more machinery to make it capable of crafting those things. And I imagine that most people, when they hear about this, the first urge is to just automate everything, just make everything accessible by a push of a button. And a few months ago, I just thought, let's make a collection of mods specifically for that, and I just went ahead and did that. I can have any item just crafted for me. So yeah, to prove that it works, I have 35 pages of items here. Obviously not everything has a recipe, like iron ore. There's no recipe for that. If it's willing, there we go. It's not allowing me to... Yeah, I click at it and it doesn't show me how to make it. There's no recipe for iron ore, so things like that there's no recipe for. And there's like some certain items that I have not made recipes for, like all the enchanted books. There are ways to make it, but honestly, why would you? So I just didn't. I sort of prioritized... Well, I sort of disregarded things that you simply would not make. And there's also a lot of liquids and such that are not automated, like tree oil. I mean, I am making seed oil, but there are certain fluids that are not automated. So to prove that this works, I have a couple of dice here. I'm gonna roll some dice to select a random item, and I'm going to just have it make that. So let me see, how 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'll roll a 8-sided die. If I get an 8, I'll roll it again. 3. Okay, so it's the third line that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Alright, I'll roll a d20. I dropped it on the floor. If I get anything above 13, I'll just roll it again. 17. 1. Okay, so the first line. And then to select the page, I'm gonna just roll a d3 and add a d10 to get a random page. So that is 27. So I'll just go for it to page 27. Alright, so I can't have it create the Electrum crop plant. That simply wouldn't work. So instead, we'll take the closest thing and do the compactor. Basic compactor. And there it is. I'll tell it to make one. And we'll make all the things needed to make it as well. I'll hit start. And I believe if we fly up here, one of these should be making a compactor. It might actually be one of the ones inside. Maybe it has already completed it. It looks like it's already completed it. Yeah, so there we go. One compactor. There we go. It can compact things. So yeah, this was fun. Just a world purposely for nothing else than being able to make anything. Not using that as a tool for anything, just being able to produce whatever I wanted to. Of course, I did some things for fun, like that thing over there. Let me actually do a little server tour. So, here I have a to-do list. I never made a third power plant because it wasn't really necessary. I mean, it would certainly help, but it's not necessary. Here we have my tiny little house. This is my starting base, Phoenix Wing Mansion. Not really a mansion though, is it? I started out with a few machinery up in the upper floors. Oh yeah, Mystical Agriculture, that is... I'll show you more of it later, but amongst other things, it added this armor that allows me to fly. So when I created the mod pack, I sort of had it as a focus to not add any mods that would just needlessly add more recipes, because that would just make the task harder. So I added mystical crops, because with that I can plant plants that will automatically give me things, so I wouldn't need to add, for instance, buildcraft to have a giant quarry just dig out things all the time. I could just get all my basic products from Mystical Agriculture, and in hindsight, I would say that in Mystical Agriculture and Applied Energistics, which is the computer mod, they're basically made for each other. Mystical Agriculture requires a whole lot of just a crazy amount of crafting, and Applied Energistics provides that, but requires just ludicrous amounts of material. They're basically made for each other. Of course, I thought, hey, I'm gonna need some power, so yeah, this is a bit dangerous stretch to walk, so I'm just gonna grab onto this, because there's a high voltage cable there. This armor basically makes me immune to electricity, so uninsulated cables are not a problem. Actually, no, let me show you the Mystical Agriculture. So primary matter production, the secondary one is that ugly green building over there. So I have these garden cloches from immersive engineering, and what they do is that they make things grow. So here we have the plants we saw outside. These Inferium, they're basically used. They're basically the base material of all of Mystical Agriculture. If we look here, though, we have dirt seeds, which produce dirt essence, which is used for many things, mostly dirt related. There I picked up some quartz seed essence as well. So you can use it to make dirt, you can use it to make grass, coarse dirt, podzol, gravel, mycelium, mushrooms, and it just goes on for a bit. And all of this is then inserted into the computer, which I will show later. But of course, all of this requires power, and I thought, hey, what is better for power than immersive engineering? And I discovered that immersive engineering wasn't the best power option. I built this little power plant here because I thought that using potatoes to make ethanol and hemp seeds to make seed oil, and stop pressing E, and combining them to, hang on, this place is a bit of a hassle to get through, and combining them into biodiesel and using them in a biodiesel generator would probably be a pretty good way to produce power for the computer, for the matter production, for everything. I was wrong. The production of biodiesel takes more power than it creates. Now, of course, I had these garden cloches, and there are redstone seeds from immersive engineering. There are also enervation dynamos from thermal expansion. I don't quite remember why I added thermal expansion in the first place. I think it was for like doubling ores or something. I don't know. Not really, like, I don't know. I added it for some reason, but I found out that these garden cloches, well, they first ran on coal. If I had coal seeds and sequential fabricator that would craft the coal essence into coal and then put it into dynamos, then I would get more power than I was using, thus gaining a surplus of power. I eventually upgraded it to redstone because that produces even more power, and I basically just expanded upon that until I had a lot of garden cloches, even more enervation dynamos, and they're all going through these HV cables. I believe I have and they all go into these HV capacitors from immersive engineering, because immersive engineering was the best option to move the power around. And basically everything is powered off of that. This is the power plant prime. Over here I have the secondary power plant. I started work on a third one, but wasn't really needed, and I got bored. So yeah, here it's sort of more condensedly packed, and it produces more power than the other one. Should probably put this voltmeter back, because in case of a power plant I won't be able to get it if it's in the computer. I've had a few power plants. Yeah, I do have a few power plants, but I have had a few power outages where I've been unable to access all of my items. Like now? What is wrong? There should be power. This is alarming. I'm supposed to show how this perfect machinery is just perfectly working, and like it's not. You're running out of power. You're full. You don't have much at all. I have no access to the computer. Oh. What? Oops, no. I forgot that I could put redstone down. Oh, it's because oh yeah, it's because I took all the Faraday armor out, so obviously it wouldn't show anything. Yeah, I've scaled up the production. Now let's get to the star of the show. ME Terminal and Prime Molecular Assembly Facility. You may have noticed the massive structure that just sticks out. Well, actually no, let's not go there yet. Let's go to the workshop. This started out as the building where I had all my machinery. Eventually I added in some ME cables so that... Yeah, I can get to that later. I need to take off this armor and put on this armor so that I can fly. There we go. So yeah, I also have a few machines from Applied Energistics 2 here, so that I can make all the things for Applied Energistics 2. This armor is... Actually, no, yeah, that armor goes in here. Actually, to give an example of what happens with cable, this is the best armor in the mod pack, and it's pretty darn good. This is what happens when I get next to an HV cable. Over half my health and it launched me all this way. Yeah. And here we have the crystal growth facility. Oh, I have some crystals growing. Neat. So I take these seeds. I have a few of them here, luckily. And I just throw them into the water here. And then these machines will take electricity. There's a cable underground connected to this energy acceptor. And they will make them grow into these pure Certus quartz crystals, which are basically needed for everything when it comes to applied energistics. So yeah, also, fun fact, golden carrots are the most saturation filling item in the game. And since I basically have infinite resources now, there's no reason not to use them. Oh yeah, this bow, I don't know what did it. Oh yeah, here is a little steel factory. It doesn't have any coal. Why does it not have coal? Oh yeah, because I haven't told it to make any, I think. Oh, it's because this thing is full on the fuel, the creosote oil. Oh, I don't need steel anyway, I have seeds of making it. Anyway, yeah, there's a few power oh, I'll be careful with the cable. There's a few power converters because HV is the best for all the ME stuff because that needs ludicrous amounts of power, but for the rest of it, it's best with low power energy so that the system isn't overloaded. Also, so that I can fly around without being shocked. Anyway, here we have the ME terminal and prime molecular assembly facility. This used to be my storage shed. I've slowly upgraded it. So basically, here is the core of the machinery. Here is where all the power goes in. I think there's a few other places that accept the power, but this is where all the power comes in. This, I don't know how it works, but it's supposed to lock everyone else out of the system, but you need identity cards and stuff like that. Here is my emergency ME chest, so... Ow! I forgot about the cable, it's been a while since I last played. Yeah, there you see the danger of the wiring. But yeah, that is my separate emergency ME chest, so that if the power runs out and I desperately need an item, I can sort of just go through all the... I can take out a hard drive, put it into there, and just open it up and have access to whatever it is I need. You know what? Actually, let's grab the Faraday armor. I should have known better than doing that, but actually, why on earth did I put it in the corner there? It's really a dangerous position. Yeah. That was a bit embarrassing. Let me just get all of this back in order. And always have a water bucket there. Just sorting out my inventory. There we go. So yeah, I have a few terminals here. I have this, which basically shows me all the recipes I have programmed in here. Basically, I need to... Oh, I have a lot of empty spaces. And a huge gap for some reason. So basically, you create these encoded patterns and just put them into the interface for the necessary machines. I'll show you the interface later. Here I have the pattern terminal where I can like just tell it that like this is how you make dirt, and then I take it out and then I put it in the interface, and it then knows how to make dirt, and I can tell it to make dirt. So these are blank patterns. I do have encoded patterns for making blank patterns. So if you see here, there, make me a blank pattern. Yes sir, I will very quickly make you a blank pattern. There we go, a blank pattern, done. Here I have a crafting terminal, which is an upgraded terminal because it allows me to craft inside it instead of having to take the items out, find a crafting table. Do I even have normal crafting tables anymore? I don't really need it because I can just tell it to make whatever I want it to, including crafting tables. There, make me a crafting table. Done. Boom. Crafting table. So yeah. And I also have this fluid terminal because I thought about doing all the fluids, but it didn't really seem to work. I managed to get some experience in there somehow. I don't know. So yeah, here we have... Ooh, I forgot to put this back. That is awkward. So here we have one of the machines that allows... actually, let me show this. This is the ME controller. This is the core of the machine. Any process it makes needs to go through there. And every terminal, everything. Here is, by the way, the wireless access point that this is connected to. Everything needs to go through this, which is why I have all these dense cables going to it. Which is why... by the way, each cable can only handle a certain amount of signals, which is why, if you look on the outside here, you can see that I have built a lot of offshoots from that little central core with several cables. So yeah, actually, let me show you this part. So here we have all the crafting CPUs. So basically, I tell the computer to make something, and it is processed by these here. So there are multiple components. So basically, these crafting storage, it's the RAM of the crafting process. So it's able to store the items that it's currently working on inside of there. So basically, the more items a recipe requires, the more crafting storage you need. And here I have all the crafting co-processor units, which basically is how many things it's able to craft at once. And then I have this little crafting terminal here, which is showing me the process. And I have a bunch of these so that I can craft multiple things at once, which is pretty neat. I wanted to do more, but it wasn't really needed. It became really excessive. I also wanted to put a whole lot of hard drives in there, but it was really not needed either. So yeah, and with that out of the way, we can show where it actually does all the recipes. Because that thing is only putting things where they need to be. This is where it needs to be. So basically, this is a crafting table. High-tech crafting table. And here we have all the interfaces, which is basically telling what it needs to enter, and here is where all the encoded patterns actually are. So there are only 9 patterns per interface, which and one of the faces needs to actually have a cable so that this thing has power. So this side tells it how to make sticks, how to make redstone comparators, redstone repeaters, iron mechanical components, and all of this. And basically, you can get like, you can get like 45 items on each of these molecular assemblies. I have another one over here. Of course, to get all of the items in this mod pack, I need a fair bit more than that. So I have one over here, one over here. This is, by the way, very inefficient use of these cables. Like, one of these cables can handle like 3 of these, and instead I've only given 1 to each of them. I have more over here, more over here, more over here, more over here. I have a little back exit over here. More there, more there. And it's really annoying to fly around. I have some normal machinery here. So here we have a sawmill, which is for oak planks and pulp biomass. Here we have a redstone furnace for white glazed terracotta. Here we have another one for cooking foods and solium I had a little burp. Solium ingots for some reason. Over here we have all the other glazed terracotta in another redstone furnace. So basically things go in there, is processed, and then goes back out into the system, and of course there's some power cables to make it work. Of course, all of this is still not enough to do all the items in the game, so I made I can go out here. I made another, that is the little back entrance. I made a potion brewery and secondary molecular assembly facility. Why did I give them such long names? So, yeah, so basically I have this ludicrous setup that basically allows me to make all the potions, because those are in vanilla, so I thought, hey, okay, that's not a good argument because the enchantment books are also in vanilla, but those are possible to like brew in vanilla, so I thought, hey, let's make that, so I can basically make any potion. So basically it automatically brews the potion, and it's brewing them until it's full, and then when I say, hey, I need this potion, it just inserts a bottle and pulls out the potion I asked for. Of course, after making all of this, I realized, hey, I forgot to factor in... I forgot to consider splash potions. So what I then did was that I just had all these fluid transposers take a couple of splash potions, and then take the potion, a couple of normal potions, and just take the potion out of those, remove the bottle, and then it would put them in here, where it would make whatever is inserted into a splash potion, which is then bottled here and just put into the system. So yeah, I can make splash potions as well. Here is one for jumping. Whee! And of course I have more molecular assemblies over here. Here I have for the various colors of concrete, because in vanilla you would make that with a water, but just putting the powder in water, but that is not easy to automate, and this system works. And here I have a fluid transposer that does nothing, because I thought I needed another one. Here I have another pulverizer. Here I have another pulverizer, and here I have another redstone furnace. Those in the workshop are also automated. And then I have even more molecular assemblies over here. And then we have an exit over here. That's a little tunnel I made. I'm still jumping high. I made a little ladder here. I don't know why, because I could fly at that point, but... so yeah, you can see that the secondary facility is much larger than the other one. But it was still not enough, so I made a third one. The tertiary molecular assembly facility. This was the most efficient use of cables, because now I had 3 per cable when I discovered that it wasn't necessary with all the extra. And all of this is molecular assemblies. All the way over here. I have some exits here. Doesn't really go anywhere, but it's nice to be able to enter from this direction if you're already here. I don't know if these are actually used. No, not all of them are used. They are future-proof, despite me not playing on this world anymore. So yeah, here we have all the... at this point I was just making each recipe, just going through the pages and making each recipe. Yeah. This is the nearest exit. And yeah, once I was done with that, I had basically completed my mission. Yeah, there's not any villagers left in this village, because I wasn't that good at protecting them. Oh yeah, I also had a horse, because before I could fly I needed some mode of transport. There's my nether portal. It's not really doing much. Let me have a quick nap and I'll show you the last little tidbit of this world. Also, I have some water mills over there, because to begin with I thought, hey, if I take enough water mills, that will be enough power. I was so wrong and naive. So wrong. So very much wrong. So yeah, basically a completed to-do list. And then we have this little thing of applied logistics, because if you can store chests and all of that inside a computer, why not structures? I forgot to do that. Why not structures? So yeah, I can do that. I can store people inside too, but I don't want to store myself because I would basically be stuck. And you can put it somewhere else as well. It does require a whole lot of power though. So I made another little place over here. And if I put this in here, it will recreate the fountain. Neat! And I can do other things as well. I think I have another one here in this ender chest. If I put this in, I have this neat little house. Of course, I needed to stick mostly with vanilla blocks because not everything worked. I also just a nice little build. Here we have my dog, Dinnerbone. There was a kid watching me, and he was like, if you name the dog Dinnerbone, will he turn upside down? And I was like, yes, and then I got a name tag and renamed him Dinnerbone with only one N, and he was like, why didn't he go upside down? And I was like, because I intentionally mistyped it, because I didn't want him standing on his head all day long. His poor neck would be hurt. I have this little sunbed. I have this little parasol. I was able to use some blocks from immersive engineering, which was nice. I have this little roof here with insulating glass. I don't know why I had to use those, but I did. And I have this little roof here. And even from all this distance... Excuse me, what? I was about to say, even from all this distance, I am able to access all of my stuff, because I have this quantum link chamber that is... You may have noticed that there was a similar structure back in the storage shed. Well, basically, it's quantum linking that place to this place, and is supposed to allow me to wirelessly access this place. But it's not working. All the lights are on, and it has power, but it's not working. Is it because the chunks aren't loaded? It's probably because the chunks aren't loaded. When I originally played this, I had it on a server just so that I could access it both from my laptop and from my computer when I was going away. Or well, going home. I was at fall college while I was playing this, so this computer that I'm playing on now, that was on school and couldn't be moved. But my laptop I could bring with me home and play on my vacations. I'm guessing that on the server all the chunks around the spawn are kept loaded, and thus the quantum entanglement works. But here on now that is on a survival single player world, it doesn't. So that's annoying. Anyway, back into the hard drive with you. So yeah, basically I could build anything here and just chuck it in the hard drive, as long as it's inside of this area here. So yeah, that is all of it. Are there any mods that I forgot to mention? Obviously I have just enough items so that I can see all the recipes. I have Wayla's and Wayla harvest ability so that I can just look at things and immediately know what it is. I don't know if there are any more mods. Hang on. Mod options. CTM. Okay, well I have that installed apparently. I have all of the core mods that makes different mods work. Oh yeah, obviously I have journey map. That's the minimap in the top right corner. I can't move my mouse over it because then it moves away. What else? I'm sure I had more. Not a lot, but more. Oh, no, that's it. It's a very small mod pack. Down there is my mine as well. Oh. Yeah, so my coke furnace, coke oven and blast furnace, they were originally here, and I couldn't produce a steel while the coke oven was full of crude oil. And it was too expensive to make tanks for it, so I just dumped it into this little sinkhole. And then when I needed some, I would just bucket it up. Yeah, I'm not that kind to the environment. Whoops. But yeah, that is all. Can put this back here. Now I have a nice little glowing water fountain inside of this structure. Yeah. I feel like there's something I've forgotten. Oh, of course. The AFK fish farm, because you cannot fully automatically produce fish. There's no fish seed. There's no way of just producing fish. So what do I have to do instead? I need to just grab a fishing rod. That is cursed. How on earth? Oh, I must have fished up a curse of vanishing, but it was automatically put into the system before it came to my inventory, and thus I didn't get cursed with it. Oh no, wait, no, curse of vanishing, you can put that in your inventory, it just vanishes when you die with it. And obviously I haven't died with it. So yeah, I would just put on a mouse macro and then it would automatically create fish, so I do have fish, but it's not fully automated. But I've fished enough so that it just has all the base material. There is the charging station for my terminal. I don't want to go near it because I will be shocked, because that is where all the power of the primary power plant comes out. Here's the supplemental matter production. I decided to do a little piston door on this. The game is lagging slightly, so you can't see it. Oh yeah, also in the basement here, basically everything uses these conveyor belts from immersive engineering, because it's more expensive, because it takes a lot of channels in the cable to have multiple entry points, but it only takes one if you just push everything into a single hopper, so that was more efficient. Also, the garden cloches require water, which it gets from the primary power plant. And then it goes down there, and then it goes into the computer. Move that back. Thank you. Yeah. I believe that is all. Probably a lengthy and unnecessary video, but I wanted to show it. So, yeah. If you don't want me to make this kind of video, you probably don't need to worry, because I'm probably not gonna do things like this again. So I don't know what you have to fear. I mean, if you don't want to see this kind of video, you don't have to see it. It's that simple. hey, probably no one is gonna watch this anyway, so why am I even making it? Well, because it's basically tradition in Minecraft to just make something because you want to and then show it off. Because, hey, what else are you gonna do? Like, days after the very, very first edition of Minecraft was just put on a forum, people started recording it. I would know. I have researched this for an old series. I never. You know what? Fairly well, and see you. Probably never, but I will probably make something again at one time. I don't know what is up with this dialect, but goodbye.